Andrew's with us. Let's see if Andrew has something to say. What's up, Andrew?
Not too much. How's everyone doing?
Good, man. Good, fantastic.
I'm in Burlington, Ontario.
Cool.
So this Tuesday on my Facebook page, True Strengths to Andrew, I have special guest Michael Consul coming on the show.
Oh, nice. I know Michael.
And hopefully he has something.
We all do.
Yeah, hopefully he has something really exciting to announce, which will be the date in which we're going to start the CFN Fish Off. Things are definitely starting to look better for us and all of our participants across Canada. So I'm hoping Mike's going to possibly announce the start of our CFN Fish Off live on your show.
That would be good.
I'm hoping to, and I got him talking about the CFN Fish Off, and also have him talking about how he got involved with the Canadian Fishing Network.
That's awesome. Cool. That's great stuff, Andrew. Do you have a question before we go tonight?
I think he's already answered it, but it was just the Ned rig.
Yeah.
When's the perfect time to use it? So I think he'd answered it pretty well. Thank you, Big Jim.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. It's like I said, it's so funny how we end up fishing with that now. And I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do use it. But I'm more of a shaky worm type guy. I like it's just you can use them both. Like they interchange well. But it's so funny when I mentioned to you about we used to fish 5-inch tail and grubs. So you'd have a grub on the head, the tail would get pulled off. Like I said a few minutes ago. Oh, you got to change it. It's not going to catch anything. Now we fish a piece of plastic that looks like one with the tail pulled off. You know, it's There's so many things out there you can catch fish with. It's funny. I remember a buddy of mine. It's got to be 25, 30 years ago. And we were out fishing one day. And he took a jig head. And he hooked this great big, plastic wasn't that easy to get, or there was not the numbers of it that you see now back then. And we used to use worms called cream scoundrels. I'm dating myself now. Scotty might remember those.
Cream, oh yeah. They were probably the most popular plastic worms back in the day.
Oh, well, they were the only one.
Oh, yeah. Wow. There you go. They were definitely the most popular when I was growing up.
And he hooked it about an inch down from one side on a jig head and threw it out and caught a couple of fish with it. And we still talk about it to this day that he invented wacky rigging. That's what he says, you know. But it's and we never did it again because they tore up too easy. We used to put the thread them on or Texas rigged them and crazy glue them, put a toothpick in the eye of the hook to hold the plastic on, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But hey,
it's
still a great thing to do if you're flipping and you don't want the bait to come down. It's better than a spring. It's better than anything. You get the toothpicks that are the wooden ones that are pointy on the end, and you just you put the worm up and you slide it through the hole. You give it a good twist. Take nail clippers, cut it off on both sides. That plastic worm is on there for the day. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
yeah, it really makes a difference. Only thing is that I've become more of a believer in recent years that the plastic has to be able to move. I believe that if you set the hook with braided line, if the plastic can move, there's a lot more chance of you hooking the fish. There's a lot more chance. So it's not because when it gets to a fish's mouth, you got to remember you've got a sinker up front. If you've got a big sinker, then you have an offset hook. When you set the hook, it starts to come out of the fish's mouth. And it fires his lips open because it hits from the inside and pries them open to come out. If you got something really big at the front that doesn't move, it'll pop the fish's mouth open and it'll come out. And I've watched it happen in clear water years ago. I've set the hook and just watched it come right back out of the fish's mouth, and you look and you go, "How did that happen?" You know. And I know I see more and more guys now that when they fish with really big sinkers like 1.5 ounce, maybe even the odd time a 2-ounce sinker. You don't see too much of that in Canada, but in Florida and places like that, these heavy mats that they catch these giants out of, they leave the sinker loose because they're hoping that when the fish picks it up, he sucks it into his mouth. It comes away from the sinker a bit. So when they set the hook, it's just the hook. And you'll notice there's a real resurgence of straight worm hooks now that have little things on them to hold the worms in place a bit instead of having the offset hook. but it's hard to say. It's all stuff out there, and it's sometimes it's just personal preference. But you're never too old to learn, and I'm really big on things like that about the number of times you set the hook on a lure, or you hear me talk about rods not losing a fish on a rod. I need to be using that rod more, and then start to use it for more things. I've got some here that I've been messing around with here, comparing in the garage, tying them on equal lengths of line, or tying them to the same piece of line, and pulling up on them and see how they both bend together. If they are indeed the same as the rod that I really like when they come under load, and and quite often I could almost draw a line on the wall. I could put a rod holder on the wall, and I could draw a line with a pencil of how I like a rod to bend, and I could put the rod in the rod holder and pull down on the end. And when it loaded, if it didn't meet that arc, I wouldn't want it. It's
okay.
Yeah, there's.
I hope you're writing this all down, Andrew. Are you writing all this stuff down? This is a wealth of information right here.
I got the screen recorded.
I think there's so many. I think there's so many rods out there. We have different rods, but I'm a firm believer that we should have more of the same thing. Like, I don't for a second not think that you shouldn't have 10 rods on the deck if you're out fishing. Sometimes even more. Nothing like a Zoomy. Like Bob is like, how many rods can you carry? I've seen him come to the boat with rods and wonder, where are we going to put them all? And then he says, here, I got to get the rest of those out of the truck. I'll be back. It's just nuts, eh?
Well, you know what, Andrew, I'm so glad you're recording this, because I'm hoping you can play it back for me, because, as I said, this is a wealth of information that Jim is offering. Before we move on, Andrew, where can we find Fishing with Andrew and your Facebook live broadcast each and every week?
So Fishing with Andrew is on my Facebook page. So if you go and search it, just type in Fishing with Andrew, it should pop right up. And the broadcast is broadcast right on my page there. And it's every Tuesday night at 8:30, and always have a new special guest coming on each week.
Right on, buddy. Thanks for joining us tonight, my friend. We look forward to Tuesday.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care, buddy. Okay.